Well, President Trump is calling out migrant crime as a wave of suspected killings is fueling new outrage. One of the latest and most horrifying examples, a Haitian migrant faces deportation after allegedly using a hammer to bludgeon a Florida mother to death outside a gas station. Meanwhile, the president is ripping Democrats' border policies with this warning on Truth Social. He writes, "If the Democrats are ever given another chance at power, they will immediately reopen the border and allow America to once again be a safe haven for criminals." Let's bring in Lora Ries, former DHS Chief of Staff to Kristi Noem. She is now the Director of the Border Security and Immigration Center at the Heritage Foundation. Lora, thanks very much for being with us today.
Good to be with you, John.
The murder of this young boy in Missouri is just the latest example. And it's hard to believe that there are people, Democrats, whatever you want to say, in this country who can look the other way after Americans are murdered at the hands of illegal immigrants.
Yes, it seems every week we have yet another case of a preventable crime by someone who is here as an alien and they are deportable, whether they had prior additional crimes or not beyond immigration violations. And this is why it is so important to continue what President Trump campaigned on and what he won on, and that's mass deportations. Americans shouldn't have to wait for deportable aliens to commit yet another crime to suddenly become, quote unquote, worst of the worst, and then become a priority for deportation. We need to be using worksite enforcement, going after visa overstays, et cetera, to conduct these mass deportations because there are at least 20 million deportable aliens in this country, and we shouldn't be losing any more Americans because of it.
And of course, you know, there are efforts to protect illegal immigrants, you know, the sanctuary states, sanctuary cities all across this country. Listen to the acting ICE director on the fact that Virginia is not cooperating with the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. Here it is.
Work with us. You don't have to even advertise it. Just work behind the scenes. Turn these individuals over to us before there's another victim in your state.
She ran on a law enforcement, position that she was a career law enforcement person, which is a much different person now. She's in that governor's slot. If you don't want to let us in the jail, fine. We'll just send more teams into the streets, into the neighborhoods, because we're going to do the job that President Trump promised to make this country safer again.
Tom Homan there talking about Abigail Spanberger, the newly elected governor of Virginia, who is not in favor of helping ICE, it would seem. Why not allow ICE into jails to effect arrests rather than, take people off the streets or out of houses?
Well, that's common sense and that's basic. I mean, that's table stakes. We need to go beyond that. It can't just be about after an alien has been arrested and is in jail. In Northern Virginia, since Governor Spanberger was sworn in, an illegal alien brutally killed a woman at a bus stop, and the governor has run away from questioning about it. And so they're gambling with Americans' lives, with their constituents, and Americans are fed up. They were fed up back in November of 2024. That's why President Trump won on securing the border and conducting mass deportations. But Americans' mood didn't get better necessarily after that, when we, week after week, have to live through yet another crime against American citizens that are completely preventable. And so politicians need to read the room, understand Americans are fed up with the crime and the fraud and taxpayer resources being wasted, and enforce the laws.
Americans are also fed up with this latest government shutdown. The Democrats directed it at ICE. But ICE is already funded, so they ended up shutting down the TSA and inconveniencing millions of travelers. Senator Lindsey Graham, says on Special Report last night that he thinks he's got a solution. Listen.
We're going to have a very specific bill coming out before June 1st that will fund the Border Patrol and ICE for the entire presidency, the 3 years left of President Trump. Not one Democrat supports Border Patrol funding. Not one Democrat supports ICE funding. As budget chairman, I can do this through reconciliation without one Democratic vote. I told President Trump, we're going to deliver. We're going to do it first to prove to the House that we got the votes.
Assuming he's correct, isn't it a little absurd that not one member of the Blue Party will vote for border funding and border protection?
Absolutely. This is a new level of dysfunction for Congress. You're not supposed to be putting policy on appropriations bills. And all of this is because the Democrats don't want ICE funded. They don't want deportable aliens deported because their political house of cards is built on mass migration for the votes, for the ballots to harvest, and for the head count for the U.S. Census, congressional districts, presidential votes per state, et cetera. And so, yes, the Senate can do this, but they shouldn't have to. Normal operations of Congress is to fully fund departments each year. And now we have Democrats not just picking off the Department of Homeland Security, but now picking off ICE and CBP while willing to fund the rest of DHS, specifically to prevent immigration enforcement.
Lora Ries, formerly with the DHS, now with the Heritage Foundation. Lora, thanks for your time today.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.